You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about something that, of course, is of massive interest across the nation and particularly on this channel, and that is the tragic deaths of the three gentlemen that lost their lives after what should have been just a benign Chiefs watch party. Kansas City Chiefs watch party. They got together to watch the game, and then afterwards, something happened. Now, a toxicology report, some preliminary information has come out, and of course, we found out traces of fentanyl, cocaine, and THC were involved in this. Now, families have been very vocal about it, and girlfriends, of course, there's a lot of anger involved. I don't blame these people. When you lose your kids, your children, there's going to be a lot of anger. But there's also some very strange things, some very mysterious things around this when you consider the days that passed without Jordan Willis realizing his friends were gone, and the fact that doors were beat on, he didn't answer the door. There's just a lot of things that have raised a lot of questions. And then there's the avenue of he was known as the chemist, right? A guy that concocted these potential drug cocktails, and we don't know if this was one gone wrong. Well, one of the men that lost their lives, Clayton McGinney, the family attorney has come out and made some comments, and it's pretty clear. They believe there's some kind of criminal liability here, all right? That there is something criminal that took place, whether on purpose or by accident. And they have come out, made some comments. He has made some comments, and this continues to get more and more interesting by the day. An attorney representing the family of Clayton McGinney, one of the three Kansas City Chief fans' men found dead in freezing conditions after an NFL watch party, said his clients need to know whether or not there was, quote, intention or malice in the party host Jordan Willis's behavior in the 2 days that he didn't report the bodies in his backyard. That's the thing. That's the hook here, folks, is why was this not reported? Why did he not see it? Supposedly his dogs were not home, so we don't know what was happening there. Tony Kage told the Fox News Digital that he, quote, he would feel nothing but sympathy if Willis was, quote, blameless in the deaths of McGinney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington. But Kage said it would be, quote, very hard to explain how he could not realize what happened to his friends when they were frozen in his backyard for 2 days. That's the real question, the real bizarreness that has taken a hold of this entire situation. I mean, it's nuts, right? And the girlfriend had to break into the basement, a basement window, to eventually make it to the backyard. It's just crazy. The friends were last seen alive inside Willis's Northwest 83rd Terrace home after the Chiefs win against the Chargers on January 7th. They found him on the 9th. Although Kage confirmed that drugs were detected in the men's systems, according to preliminary toxicology reports shared with their loved ones by police, he could not confirm which were found. And I'm going to tell you, they're not real happy with the way the police have handled this either. Because, you know, they came out and made a comment about there not being a homicide investigation. And they're not happy that the police commented on this at all or made that sweeping judgment so quick. Because the fact is, there is an investigation ongoing. What kind it is, I guess we don't know. We don't know if they're trying to go after some drug dealers, source of drugs. We don't know what's going on here. Quote, I think if Monday morning Willis had realized his friends had expired overnight and he called 911, I don't think this would be a story, Kage said on Wednesday. I don't know if we'd be talking about it today. it would get a few days in the Kansas City market, and then it would fade away. Kagay said McGinney's mother, Nancy Bosserit, and his fiancée, April, and I guess her fiancée, April Mahoney? Oh, his fiancée, April Mahoney. Okay, Clayton McGinney's. I'm sorry. Attempted to reach McGinney and then Willis over a 2-day period when the men were missing. Quote, multiple people in their close-knit group of friends that lived within a mile radius made calls and house calls in an attempt to find them. But their deaths weren't reported until the evening of January 9th, so we almost made it into a third day here. When Kagay said Mahoney broke into Willis's property out of desperation and discovered one of the men's bodies, the Kansas City police would find 2 more bodies behind the home. Video recorded by a neighbor shows Willis handcuffed in boxer shorts as police conducted their search. There's Clayton McGinney right there. It is unclear exactly when or how they died, Kagay said. Quote, multiple personal items belonging to the men that remained in Willis's home after they died raised further questions. We did not know this. All right, I did not realize until right now, at least I can't remember in all the videos we've done where they've talked about that personal items were still inside. I think there might have been a mention of a coat of one of the guys that was still there, but let's be honest, people forget a coat all the time. When they go to leave the house, you get in the car, you take off down the road, and you're like, crap, it's 28 degrees outside. I forgot my jacket. I mean, that does happen, but it's still strange nonetheless. How does Willis not realize what happened to his friends? That's the big part the family wants to know. We may never have an answer to that. We just might not. Again, why is the 5th friend not commenting? What's going on there? The friend that left while everybody was watching Jeopardy, I think he's a big, I'm not going to call it a smoking gun, but a big piece of the puzzle that can provide a lot of insight into this. It's very hard to see a scenario where something unusual didn't happen. Kagay said there has been, quote, disappointment over the way the KCPD communicated to the press about the men's deaths. The agency previously told Fox News Digital the deaths were 100% not being investigated as homicides. I don't think they were in a position to say that. Uh-oh. Clearly, there's an ongoing investigation. I just don't know how they made that determination, and I don't know how that was helpful to say. When you say there was no foul play, there was no gunshot, no stab wound, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't something that occurred was illegal. I don't know that that was handled in the ideal manner, so they're not happy with the cops. I'm not saying that anybody did anything intentional, Kagay said, but I don't think that it would be required for there to be criminal liability. I will tell you this, I think there's civil lawsuits coming. If the ball gets dropped and they got to find out what's going on criminally here, there's Jordan Willis may end up getting nailed here. Regardless of who was responsible, the fact that 3 men who were in good health were celebrating with a friend each other, they ended up dead, Kagay said. One of Nancy's main concerns is that this doesn't happen to anyone else in the future. My God, surely it wouldn't. Surely it wouldn't, but you never know. The media attention that this case has received, Kagay said, has been a double-edged sword for his clients. On one hand, they want to grieve in peace. On the other hand, Kagay believes the attention can be used to apply some gentle but effective pressure on KCPD and compel a more thorough investigation. Yeah, because I think regardless of what they find out, this is prime, and I know Nancy Grace is already heavily into this, but it's asking and begging for Dateline 2020, one of those kind of news platforms to get involved here. When full autopsy and toxicology reports are available and police complete their forensic investigation of electronic devices, At least 2 of the men's families have been asked for their son's phone passwords. The Platte County Prosecutor's Office will decide whether criminal charges should be pressed against Willis or Alex Wimmer Lee, a 5th party guest who left the house alive on January 7th. So they're talking about criminal charges. This is the first time it's been uttered, criminal charges involving the 5th guy. That's interesting, too. Last week, representatives from the families of Harrington, Johnson, and McGinney met with the prosecutor's office. Kagay said prosecutors wanted the family to know this situation was being investigated thoroughly and they would cooperate with families in the future. There is still a lot of unanswered questions, understandable skepticism as far as the explanation for how this happened. There are multiple attempts being made to resolve questions. Kagay said some of the family have publicly expressed skepticism about Willis's announcement that he checked himself into an inpatient rehab facility after his friend's death. The timing would appear to a cynical person to be a bit suspect. So they're not sold on the rehab aspect of this. On the other hand, he may have a substance abuse problem and needed to check into rehab. Wow. But although he said that only results of the investigation can prove culpability and lack thereof in the men's death, Kagay's criminal defense background compels him to wonder about the case in the interim. I really want to know where exactly their bodies were discovered, what they were wearing, what was in the house, if there was drug use, was there a cleanup that occurred in those 2 days? Big question. Was there paraphernalia in plain view when law enforcement arrived? A lot of these questions may never be answered in a way that makes people satisfied. Yeah, I mean, if you show up and it smells like bleach in the house, that's gonna immediately perk your attention. But McGinney's family is patiently awaiting police findings until more information is released. Their position is we don't know if an investigation was done appropriately or inappropriately. So, key aspect of this is the investigation being done the way it should be? That's a very interesting question to ask. And he's saying, look, whether it was intentional or not, you can still have a criminal side of this. He's not wrong. He's not wrong there. And these families obviously want to know exactly what happened. Again, the fact that they bring up criminal charges in the same sentence with the 5th guest, I find that very interesting. Is he a smoking gun in all this? Which one of these friends was the tightest with Jordan Willis? Is it the 5th friend? That's really interesting. Did the 5th friend show up at any point? Between the time the party ended and they went in the backyard and Willis, the grisly discovery in the backyard. Was there conversations between everybody, right? Between Wimmer Lee and Jordan Willis. Man, this is nuts. It really is. It truly is crazy. Make sure you hit subscribe, leave a like. We'll keep on it. This is wild. It's crazy. There's a lot of different roots growing off this. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.